Hello everybody, it's Jacqueline Bear here. So I went on a hike earlier this week and came across this gorgeous western tiger swallowtail butterfly just feasting on the sweet nectar of these flowers, and I was so excited to capture this moment and wanted to draw it with you all today. So grab your sketchbook and pencil and let's dive in. My first tip is how to change your photos to black and white like I did here. So I have Lightroom on my phone, so I use that, but a free way is also here in the edit portion of your Photos app. So here you can see me cropping the photo, but you can also swipe right there on the bottom and look for the saturation tab and slide it to the left to bring the saturation down. In my last video, you all loved it and gave such great tips that I wanted to try some of them out as well as share them with you all. Thank you again for commenting on my video. I love the conversations that we have. So I'll be doing this voiceover with tips, chatting about this drawing, and playing soft music when I'm not talking. So I hope that you enjoy. So here you can see me just quickly sketching out the just rough lines and the rough areas. Like, this does not need to be precise whatsoever. I did the same thing with my botanical drawing I did in my last video. So I did very similar to here. But this time I have added a butterfly. So I started by bringing in some more of the details, like right there at the beginning. I was so excited to draw these little eyes that I was like in the fuzzy body that I had to just start doing it. And it was really, really fun to draw this little butterfly. Well, actually, it wasn't a very little butterfly. It was many inches wide. Like, it was a pretty big one when we saw it on the trail, which was very, very cool. So in my previous video, I used a book as a reference, and as you can see here, I actually have a butterfly book I could have used as a reference, but I really want to start taking my own photos as well as drawing from life. So some tips I have for taking your own photos in the field is getting as close as you can to the subject. Now, this particular butterfly was very busy feasting, like I said, on all the sweet nectar of the flower, that it was right there on the trail. So we were able to get really close to it and get some photos and videos of it. But usually I can't really capture butterflies too well, but I would suggest starting with the plants and the flowers because those are not going to fly away. But then you can work your way up to getting photos of birds and bees and butterflies. Try to get good lighting. Like for this particular one, it was the mid-morning, so I had really bright light, so I was able to really capture good lighting on this butterfly. But also I love hiking at sunset and getting that really pretty golden hour, so I think that that's helpful to get some more artistic shots, especially if you're trying to paint and capture really pretty lighting. But sometimes with sketching, the mid-morning, midday, it actually kind of works for you because you could find shade. For your flower, I definitely always try to find shade when I can because I'm not the biggest fan of drawing or sketching harsh lines, but in this particular case, I will be sketching some more harsh lines of the leaves later on in the video. But you just gotta work with what Mother Nature gives you. So here you can see me using a blending stump. I've really learned to lean into using it because it helps me soften lines, and sometimes I even use it to kind of map out where the darks and the shadows will be, just as a nice little layer to put down. I know painters will sometimes call it underpainting, so sometimes I use the blending stump to kind of just get those first base layers down. So it's a really helpful little tool if that's something that you want to start trying to use as you sketch as well. So another tip I got in the comment section of my last video is about erasers. I have not heard of this, but apparently there is an eraser that looks like an ordinary pencil that you can even sharpen it. And so I looked into it, so I'll link it down below of the one that I found that I definitely want to try to get because that would be super cool, especially to like really get those highlights later on when I'm painting the butterfly. I needed to add a little bit of highlight into the little eyeball. But I just used my kneaded eraser and just softened it. So like it worked out for me, but I think that like a really cool tool to have would be a pencil eraser or even one of those, I think they're called like mono erasers, just a really teeny tiny tip so that you can get as many highlights or erase things if needed. So here you can see me using a different pencil, so this blue pencil. I got a tip about getting a harder lead pencil for those tiny details. So all I had was an HB, which is the hardest that I have out of my pencils. And that seemed to really help with more of the teeny tiny details that I was trying to get. Now I'm a creature of habit, and I definitely use more of this black matte one that I have from Blackwing. I can't help it. I just start getting in the flow and it works for me, but I am trying to be better at using different like levels and hardnesses, and softness of the lead. So that's another tip that I got from someone. Thank you very much for that. That was a good reminder to not just stick with one specific pencil all the time. So I also got a question about how do I practice? Like in my last video, I said that for the past year, I've been practicing my drawing skills, my botanical drawing skills, and I thought this was a wonderful question. So for the past year plus, I have had my books and my sketchbooks always sitting on my coffee table. Like they're always there. So whenever I'm settling down for the evening to put on a movie or just play some music, or maybe while my husband's cooking or something, I can just grab it and start to sketch. So I'd say I'd practice probably multiple times a month, not every day. This is not an everyday thing for a year that I did, but at least weekly, trying to get in every single month, every single week. Even if it was just drawing like a leaf or two, like it wasn't ever just a whole finished, piece like I did do here in one sitting, or my last video I did that. I would definitely suggest keeping your tools handy. Again, it can just be a sketchbook and a pencil and an eraser and maybe a pencil sharpener so you can get those, even tinier details. But I would definitely suggest keeping them in sight and where you spend a lot of time. If you spend a lot of time on your couch, keep it near your couch. I also spend a lot of time on my desk editing photos, editing my YouTube videos, and I keep all of my materials near me, but definitely like a sketchbook and a pencil nearby. I think that is the best way to just start, because even if, let's say, for many days or weeks in a row, you don't draw, it's still sitting there. And don't take it maybe as like a negative thing, like, oh no, I haven't picked it up. It's just a gentle reminder to be like, hey, I'm a sketchbook. I'm sitting here. Please use me. So that's just my tip for you to just get into drawing, and as well as, like I've said in other videos, like using reference books, reference photos you have taken like I did here with this butterfly. So using your own material, finding things, finding good inspiration, even on Pinterest, print some off and just draw from it. Like that's the easiest thing I can suggest, is pick something that you find inspiring and just draw it. Like you're not going to get better until you start drawing. And with each drawing and as time passes on, you'll notice like in certain drawings that you do, like even this butterfly, the left side of the wing, I realized how to do things a little bit better than perhaps I did on the right side. So you'll just keep learning as you go along, and it's a really, really fun practice to do. And another tip I have, as you can see here, is I have tracing paper. I had someone ask, oh no, like I'm a left-handed person, so I smudge everything when I do it. Well, you know what? Me, as a right-handed person, I would smudge the things on the right side. So I would suggest, as best you can, trying to go, if you're a left-handed person, start on, let's see here, left hand, the right side, and get over to the left, just like I like to start on the left side and work my way over to the right. That doesn't always happen, as you see here in this drawing, but I like to use tracing paper. Even if I'm just placing my hand on it, I'm trying not to smudge it. I'm trying not to get the graphite, especially the softer graphite, on my fingertips that then would transfer if I touched the paper somewhere else. So definitely try tracing paper, and if you don't have tracing paper, a regular sheet of paper would totally work as well. I just have tracing paper and like to use it. Another tip that I was told was using the Faber-Castell Pitt graphite pencils for those deep shadows. I can get pretty deep with my Blackwing matte, but I wouldn't mind trying an even softer lead to really get those dark darks. So that's something you can try out. And then I also was told, with all my drawings I had on my other video, was to date my drawings to keep track of my progress. So in my sketchbooks, not this particular sketchbook, I do that all the time. Like, I have dated every single thing. I just, for some reason, on these square ones, didn't date them, which is silly. So I do sign this at the end, and then on the back, which I didn't show in the video, I do write down the date of when I did it, so I can just see, what my progress is. That's the beauty of sketchbooks, usually, because they're bound and they keep them all in place for you. But sometimes with these looser sheets, you don't have that luxury. So that's a good tip that someone had given me, and I wanted to share it with you all. So I am coming to the end of this drawing. I think it has come out really, really well. I definitely have some more tweaks to do. It took me like 2-ish hours to do this drawing, but I already see things, like even rewatching it as I do this voiceover, of different things that I could work on. And I think that that's just the wondrous of, drawing with graphite and learning and trying different tools. I think that it's really, really wonderful. But I hope that you liked this video, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Here I am signing it, and I'm going to sign off now. So have a good day, guys. Cheers.